Welcome to the John 3:16 Stories of Hope podcast, where we talk to people who have overcome addiction and alcoholism at John 3:16 Ministries. I'm your host, Lisa Fisher. Now let's hear another inspiring story from a resident or graduate of John 3:16 Ministries. Okay, pretty girl alert. I love it when the girls come on, the sisters, because I like to hear your stories too. We hear a lot from the men. Really brave for you to come on. Tell me your name, where you're from.
I'm Kennedy Carpenter. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay, you look like a young girl. How many
Yeah.
birthdays have you had?
20, but I turn 21 next month.
You know, that's a different experience when you're sober and you are going through a program that you're avoiding, and not celebrating. When your peers turn 21, they've got a champagne flute in their hand
Yeah.
and they're wanting to know where their next rager is. You're going to be celebrating 21 in a different way. You never
Yeah.
thought you would do that.
Never in a million years. Well, I guess 20.
Yeah, right. It feels like a million. Okay, tell me your story. This is a young girl. Are you one of the youngest there right now?
Yeah, I'm the baby bird.
I bet they love you. Tell me your story.
Well, ooh. Okay, so I had a happy family. I have a happy family.
Oh,
My parents are very loving. They're very supportive of me being here, especially now. And it wasn't always like that though. When I turned about 8 or 9, my parents decided that it was about time for them to split. It was really rocky. And that was due to my dad's alcohol and drug addiction. So, this is a generational curse that's been in my family for years. Um, it started with my dad in my life, obviously, and then I found out about my uncle and my grandpa. Then on my mother's side, my mother never dealt with any drug problem. Um, but my grandpa on my mother's side does, and so forth. And it was just always, but in that, I always grew up around recovery. So I knew what recovery was. I knew that this was a real issue, even at a young age, and that it was potential for me to fall short, in that as well. And, so a lot of major incidents happened where my dad was not doing too well. And so he had to go away for a bit. And in that separation time, so he actually went to a program. He went to Teen Challenge in Arkansas.
right. That was in Hot Springs for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he was gone for about 14 months. But in those 14 months, that's whenever my parents got divorced. So it was hard, being a single mom. I can only imagine.
Mm.
I don't have any kids personally, so I can't relate at all. But for her to raise my brother and I, on her own, it was tough. I just remember, my dad would kind of use me as an excuse to a degree, to get some daddy-daughter time, my brother and I as well, just to get out of the house and to use with a friend.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
Wait,
I was
Teen
exposed.
Challenge, can you leave it for a day or two? Do you get a respite or anything? Or is it like
No.
John? Okay, so
Yeah.
this was after he'd been through that recovery process.
No, so this was before. Let me backtrack.
Oh,
It was before whenever all of that would happen. I would see his drug addiction and everything. When he went to Teen Challenge, I was about 9 years old. And after that, he had made a complete 180. He hasn't touched
wow.
anything since. Yeah.
Wow,
So it's been about 12, 13 years
good,
since then.
good.
But anyways, yeah, no, the program there's no day visits. I think
Okay.
you get off blackout at your 3rd month. So I couldn't
What does
see
that
my
mean?
dad. I couldn't see my dad. I didn't get any
Oh,
mail from him.
oh,
Yeah, anything of that nature.
were they divorced at that time?
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
those are real lonely days for you and your mother too. That's a really, really hard time. I'm sorry you all
Yeah.
went through that. So, he's going through his recovery. You're understanding there aren't many 8 or 9-year-olds that understand what the recovery process or term means.
No, yeah, not at all.
And
Uh-uh.
then what would make you wanna take that first drink or that first hit or whatever your introduction was?
Yeah, so I was a drunk. I wasn't a IV user, or I would pop pills occasionally, usually benzos, but that never stuck like alcohol did. And I remember so I started drinking when I was around 14, but it started getting heavy when I was 16.
And your mom never noticed?
She never noticed until so that's a whole story. I came back from college. So I went to the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville for about a semester. And on that Christmas break, I came back home, and that's when she saw me blackout drunk for the first time. And we got into, a little bit of an altercation. She started recording me. It was terrible.
Oh.
Yes. And, at that point, because you don't get caught being blackout, especially as a kid if it's your first time. So I was a habitual blackout at this point, and she had just caught me. And it started at college. That's whenever it was becoming every night. I think it was the stresses of the world. I had kind of placed my identity in my success, as a kid, always getting the greatest grades, you know, being on the chancellor's choir, being on the chancellor's
Wow.
list, all of those things, getting my scholarships, being able to experience, like, the AP or higher class life,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't know, I think I took a lot of that to heart, so whenever I started, not performing as well, that's whenever I started to slip, and that's where I placed my identity, on my
Mhm.
successes and things, and so when those things weren't going my way and I was starting to fall short, I was slipping up, it felt like everybody around me was I just didn't like them, and a lot of that was drug induced as well, with the benzos, I was on Klonopin, I would abuse it, it just made me very numb.
So a provider was writing that as a prescription. That was a legal prescription?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you were mixing that with benzos?
Yes. Yeah.
And drinking.
And drinking on top of it, correct.
Kennedy, it's a wonder
Yeah.
things didn't get worse for you.
Yeah. And it really was God's timing. I remember whenever I came here, and the instructors after the interview process, they accepted me and they decided to send me to detox. And when
Oh,
I
you
was in
did
detox,
go to detox then.
yes, well, I was shaking so bad.
Yeah.
I couldn't even write. My dad had to fill out my paperwork for me. I could only sign my
So
name.
who
Yeah.
brought you? Your mom and dad or just your dad?
My dad and my stepmom,
Okay.
they brought me.
But,
Yeah.
we repeat this in every podcast, but it's interesting to know you had to make the call.
Yes, I did, and that's something that my dad had been praying for a while.
Oh.
Yes, because he went through he went so when I was 9, he went to his program, uh, while I was alive, but when he was 19, he went to Teen Challenge for the first time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he knows, that this is
Yeah.
really the only way that you have some sort of successful chance. And so he had been praying for me for years after that whole incident when they saw me blackout and drunk. And I don't know, it was supernatural. Like I remember just shooting up out of my bed. My dad had previously sent me a list of programs to look into because there's been talk about it. We were on the phone and I checked one of them. It was like a 3-month program. I knew I needed longer. And John
You
3:16
did
was
know
like,
you
yeah,
needed longer?
I did.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think other people think, do you have a 10-day program?
Yeah. I've only been to one rehab, but I went to that rehab 3 times, and that
Okay.
was a 30-day residential, and I just knew after I got out of it the first time, I stayed sober for about 10 months, but it just didn't work, and then after I went the second time, I had left. I AMA'd, against medical advice,
And those
and I
cost
was just
real
drinking.
money to your
Oh,
family.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, I
For
think I
those in
got
Little
billed.
Rock?
Mhm.
Okay.
Haven Detox.
Where is that one?
It's in Little Rock.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I know the Bridgeway. I know a few of them. I don't know them all. But
I don't remember
okay,
exactly.
well, it doesn't matter. The point is there are these pricey rehabs
Mhm.
that don't have the success rate that John
Yes.
3:16 does.
Yes.
I think
I
Brian
remember.
Tuggle says there's something like it's and I think this is accurate, 85 to 90% of the people stay sober when they leave.
Yeah.
I think he said the medical detox might be 50% and like AA's like 13%. And I know those
Yeah.
aren't exact numbers, but there's that much of a disparity between
There's a
Jesus
huge
and not
disparity.
Jesus.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
If you're 20, when was your first rehab? 18?
19.
19. Oh, so you
Yes.
did 3 and 19.
Yes.
Okay. What were you doing with your life in between stints at rehab? Like, did you have a job?
Yeah. So my parents gave me two choices when they saw me blackout drunk that night. It's the next day. My mom called my dad. He came over. They had a whole talk with me, and they were basically like, Kennedy, there's something going on. You have two options. You can either go back to school, and we will not fund,
Right.
your college, your
Right.
education,
And you probably
or
lost your scholarship by then.
well, this was still during break. So
Oh.
I still had a whole 'nother
Oh,
semester covered,
okay.
because
Yeah.
of my previous grade, so
Yeah.
it was still okay, but it wasn't a full ride. I still needed money, and I didn't wanna take out a student loan. And it was either that or I can go to a program, get better, stay clean for some time, and then I could go back to school, after that. And so, naturally, me being so money oriented, I was like, "Okay, well, I think I could stay sober, I think I'd stay clean." And so I went with that option. I stayed clean for about 10 months,
Okay.
and after that, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd again, thinking that
Ah,
people, places, things,
yes,
and
yes.
that was beat into me. I don't know. I still went to AA. So I went to a sober living after I graduated the Haven. And that was Wolf Street in Little Rock. And they have, AA meetings every
Yeah.
single week.
Every day,
Right.
all over the city, they have them every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of their stipulations was you have to come to AA, 3 times a week. You have to get your sheet signed, all the things, pass a drug test, and you can stay.
Well, you do have to pass a drug test at AA?
Yes.
I didn't realize
Not at
that.
AA, but at Wolf Street. So there's Wolf
At Wall
Street,
Street.
the place,
Right,
and
right.
then there's Wolf Street, the sober
That's right.
living. Yes. And, with all of that, it was just I stopped, so I started forging signatures on my AA meeting sheet, anything to just not be around recovery. I was just sick of it. I was tired of it. My flesh was eating at me. And
Now, where were you with the Lord, though? Were you raised in church?
yes, so it was really scary to see my dad change so much. I
To
think
change
that's
for Jesus.
yes,
Okay.
yes. It scared me. I was really fearful in that. I mean, I remember the first time I went to visit my dad, I literally told him, like, the first thing I said to him, like, "You're not my dad,"
Hmm.
because he had just changed completely. And I
Wow.
was scared of that. And so for a long time, I thought I was atheist for a little bit because I just completely neglected the idea of God. I was like, I just can't believe that this is going on. And I questioned if it was like some sort of cult thing, this brainwashing, you know, uh, just idea. And I rejected God. I remember I would get in debates literally with people, and debate that, well, we're not going to go anywhere with this argument because I don't
Mhm,
believe in God and you do. You're
mhm,
using the Bible to prove something that I don't believe. This isn't going to go
mhm,
anywhere.
mhm.
And it's just so crazy to think of how much different my life is now that I've accepted the fact that the Lord died on the cross for me and for my sins to change my life for the better.
Mm, that's beautiful, and only he could do it.
Yeah.
So you come there now every person I talk to comes to the interview process, it's a Sunday worship service,
Mhm.
um, and you get interviewed by people, and they're always high or drunk. Were you?
I was not. I actually
Really?
yeah, no. So I called my dad, and I told him, "Dad, I made the call. I'm finally ready to surrender." I'd lost complete purpose, because I said I had my identity in all of these things, and I had lost my job. I was drinking on the job, got fired. You
What
know,
kinda work were you doing?
I was a leasing agent
Okay,
for an apartment
yeah,
complex.
but drinking on the job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just not gonna fly.
Mm-mm.
And at that point, it'd probably been about 2 or 3 months after that fact, and I was just trying to find work, but God will close doors so that He can sit you, for His plan for you.
Mm.
And mind you, I had never been, and this is not my pride talking, but genuinely, I had never been rejected from anything that I've applied for,
You were
you
good at
know?
everything.
I was good at
Right, and you're
everything.
likable. Yeah, I can see all that.
Right, and so whenever I was getting denied at the Come and Go down the
Oh,
street, You know?
Okay.
I
That
was
may
like,
be rock
"Okay."
bottom.
Right.
Right.
I was like, "Alright, something's gotta give,
Well,
something's
that
not
was
right."
God pursuing you. You know that
Yeah.
now.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and so I called my dad, I told him I finally made the decision and the choice, and he was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna get you there," and this was on a Thursday, so we come in on that Sunday, so I'm still drinking, all the things that you do before you know you're about to dedicate a
Mhm.
long period of time to a treatment facility is what I kind
Mhm.
of had in my mind,
Mhm. Mhm. It's
and
not. It
right,
it
it's not at
it's not,
all.
right. Mhm.
Yeah. And, anyway, Saturday comes along and my dad I have a very supportive family, so they were like,
I'm so
"Well, we're
glad.
all gonna have dinner at this Chinese buffet, at 5 p.m. on Saturday, before you go, and then you're gonna spend the night with me, and we're gonna take you in the morning." And I called my dad that Saturday. I said, "Dad, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've been drinking. I'm gonna be, tipsy or at this dinner, but I still wanna have it before I leave." And my dad's been through it all, so he was just like, "Okay," and he loved me through it, and we had the dinner, it was great, and the next day, I'm withdrawn like crazy, and he was there
And
with
that's
all the things.
physically a very precarious place to be. I mean,
Yeah.
people can die during and I don't wanna frighten people, but
Yeah.
you can die during detox if you're not medically supervised. Now, some people go through it without needing a facility, but at that point, you needed help.
Absolutely, and in fact, sending me to detox was the best decision that could have been made.
And how long does that take? I don't even is
So
it
I was in there from Sunday to Wednesday. I got discharged around 10 a.m. But the doctor came in that Tuesday, the day before I got out, and she told me, she was like, "Kennedy," she looked at me so sad, and she was just like, "We usually see these blood alcohol levels in 50 and 60-year-olds, and if you continue to drink that the way that you have been, you'll be dead in the next week."
what?
Yeah.
So what was that's your BAC, your blood alcohol? Is that what
Yeah,
they call that or something? What was it? Do you remember?
I don't, but all I do remember is there was a bunch of red arrows that were up, and there was a little key chart on the top that said red up arrow means terrible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah,
um,
anytime you've read on a lab report, I'm just gonna
right.
go ahead and tell you, it's not good.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not good. So, but in medical detox, I think they kinda make the symptoms dissipate a little more comfortably, right?
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
They
Mm,
give you something to help you
yeah,
get over the hump because you have the DTs and some people have chills, vomit,
mhm,
I'm sure hallucinate. I'm sure your body's I mean, think about it. You are expelling the substances that have almost killed you.
yeah,
Um, so so Wednesday, do you and you do that in the Batesville area, right?
yes, I
Okay.
did.
So then you knew it was time to get in the paddy wagon and you were coming to John 316 Ministries. Were you then thinking, okay, I don't think I can do it? Like
No,
you knew
I
this was it.
do. Yeah, I knew that this was so whenever I first initially came in, I was just overpowered and overwhelmed with love. Uh,
Oh, that's so
and
sweet.
I was withdrawn, I was shaking so bad, but there were so many that are now my sisters that they just helped me, and they made me feel worthy, which is something that I haven't felt in so long.
Mhm.
I'd literally lost my identity and I'm walking through these doors and these girls are not literally, but they're saying, "I see you, I
Yeah.
hear you, we're
Yeah.
here for you." Things that I'd lost. And it made me feel so welcome I just knew from the get-go, like when Miss Erin came on Wednesday to pick me up from the hospital, I knew I was in great hands. There was no doubt in my mind that this was not gonna be the place that I was
And
meant
what
to be.
month was that?
This was in November.
Okay. We're recording this smack dab in the middle of February. Okay. So November you're there. Now I know how some of the guys do it. Do the girls also have individual rooms?
No, so we share a room.
Because
We all
girls
stay.
they like
Yeah.
having a friend. They like having a
Yeah.
pal. I totally
You
get it.
need a pal.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So we all stay in, one beautiful building called The Wells, and we have 2 hallways on the upstairs floor, and in each room, it has 2 beds for you and your roommate, and then dressers, TV, whole shebang,
Okay.
for you
So
to
you
stay.
move in your little dorm there, your little
Mhm.
sorority house.
Yeah.
Do they give you a Bible then?
No, but they have Bibles. So if
Okay.
I didn't have one, they would have been sure to get me one. They're like that with all the new girls. But my
All right.
dad gave me his Bible that he used during
Oh,
his program.
wow.
Yeah, so it's really
Okay,
cool.
so you're the former atheist. You questioned, any spiritual beliefs people had.
Right.
Then on that Wednesday, because I know the guys are in Bible study a lot or they're working. Is that
Right.
kind of the schedule for the women as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I did come the day before Thanksgiving, so it was kind of a chaotic week.
Oh, that
We were doing a
is,
lot of
yeah.
things. It wasn't a normal week until,
No, mm-mm.
well,
Monday. Probably Monday, right?
well, then we have Christmas and
Yeah.
gotta prepare for all of that. But there were some normal days in the mix of things. But yeah, no, and that's one thing that I love about this ministry is they know how important it is for you not only to have your one-on-one time with Jesus and to dig into your word, but how important it is to fellowship and to be doing things for the Lord throughout your day. So you're not sitting there stuck in getting in your head because that was one of my main triggers, is boredom. If I was just laying in
Okay.
the bed, not doing anything, I was on my way to get a bottle, and just being around such loving sisters day to day, doing stuff that serves such a higher purpose than ourselves in everything that we do. It fills my cup every single day and it makes me keep going.
Now I know that this is a moving target, but when do you see yourself graduating?
So, if I can be completely honest, I haven't even thought about that.
So it's not time. We're not
Yeah,
even close to
no.
time. Great.
Yeah, I
They'd
do
love to
know.
have you.
Right. This past Sunday, my dad, because he's used to a 14-month program. He asked me, he was like,
Oh, that's
so
right. Yeah.
yeah. So he's like, "You're at your 3-month mark, can you stay longer than 6 months?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, Dad, you can stay 6 months to a year." But that's probably the most thought I've given to it whenever he
Okay.
mentioned. Yeah.
What vocationally do you want to do when you leave? I know the come and go is not your ultimate be all end all.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not.
Right.
Uh, but probably, I don't know. I mean, I know that I wanna serve the Lord. I know my purpose
What
now,
was your college major going to be?
business management.
Okay. So you might do something business minded, but with Jesus at the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that, well, I know that I can't do anything on my own anymore. And so he has to be in control of my life and, what his will is, I want my walk to line up with that. And so I honestly don't know. I think that's even a little scary to think about. I know fear isn't of the Lord, but it is a little scary to think about because, quite frankly, I think it's scary to think about because God doesn't really want me to even think about that right now. He wants me to focus on Him and my walk
But
with
that's
Him.
how we should all be.
Right.
I shouldn't be living my life based on my plans. My calendar should only be for what if I have to go to the dentist because they charge you if you don't show up, that I should be ready to serve the Lord and everything. So I think that's good for all of us. But now as a mama, I'm going to have to tell you, you can't come back and hang around with the friends you hung around with
You're right.
when you were indulging. You can't.
Yeah. And there's a lot of precautionary measures that they've taken here. So there's like a whole blackout list, that you're not
Good.
right. So you're not able to communicate with certain individuals that probably aren't the best for you in your walk with Christ. And I don't know, with that separation time, I feel if I didn't have that separation time, I definitely wouldn't be as far along as my walk as I am now, you know?
Now, do y'all still get to use the TikTok when you're there?
No, we don't
Good.
have phones.
Good.
Yeah.
Isn't it freeing to be that way?
Yeah, it is. It
To
really
not
is.
have your nose buried in blue light all the time? That
Yeah.
you actually read a real book called the Bible?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah. And it's living, it
I
speaks to
know,
you,
living
and
word,
it's
yes.
beautiful. It's
Yes,
not like
yes,
reading a book
yes.
because I love to read. You can stick anything in front of me and I'll read it. But reading the Bible and whenever I prayed for an understanding and for things to actually speak to me, God did exactly that. Every morning when I wake up, that is my time, and I take about 15. I have this really cool 1-year Bible and it has like an excerpt from
Mhm.
the New Testament, the
Testament,
Old
Old
Testament,
Testament, like a psalm or
Psalms and
proverb, yeah.
Proverbs. Yes, both.
Mhm.
Yes. And so it takes about like 15, 20 minutes to get through that if you're just reading it. but it
Yeah.
takes about 30 to 40 if you're really absorbing and letting it speak to you. So every morning I do that. I wake up a little extra early just so I can get that time in, start my day off right.
What time are the girls up? The guys are up by 5:30, 5 or 5:30,
I don't know about the
6?
men's side. I know that we have to be downstairs and seated in our seats for prayer call at 5:55.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then everyone goes, do you eat breakfast with the boys or y'all in separate? That's
we're
one dining
separate.
hall. Oh, it is separate.
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
is. You just don't need any other distractions.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's rules in place too. We're
Mm.
not allowed to look at them, talk to them. I mean, definitely can't touch them, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Just
that separation.
hedges of protection. That's all it is. And then I know some there, they're after the instructors sometimes, get sweet on each other and those
Yeah.
things, which I think is cute. Well, Kennedy, you're just a doll. And I'm glad you got to share your story. And I can't wait to see the big things that God's going to do in your life because you're so open to the Lord. So wait, you get there in November. When did you give your life to Christ?
So it was a couple weeks after I got there in November. It was like December
Ish.
10th, 11th,
Yeah. Right.
sometime.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember it was that morning, and every morning we have Bible study, and we also, we have a little song. You can come down to the altar, just pray. And I was
Hmm.
just tired and I was sick, and I just finally surrendered my life to the Lord,
Oh,
and I was bawling. I mean, that was the biggest breakthrough that I've had here since, which makes sense. I mean, I literally gave my life to the Lord,
hmm.
but it was a beautiful moment, and that changed everything for me, and I'm so glad that I did that. I'm so glad I came here,
I'm so
genuinely.
thrilled to hear that. And in your walk with Christ, you'll have many moments that you have another breakthrough because He is not done with us.
Right.
I mean, He every day, refiner's fire. He is molding us and then until we're with Him in heaven.
Yeah. Amen.
Well, you're precious. I know your family is so happy that they've parents really worry when one of their children is in a bad way. They can't rest at night. Your mom and dad can rest at night now.
Yeah, my mom, she said that her first visit. She said, "Finally, I'm getting some good
I believe it.
unmedicated sleep."
I believe
Yeah.
it. I believe it. Well, God bless you, sister. I can't wait to see the big things that God's going to do in your life. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
doing
Miss
this
Lisa.
interview.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us for the John 3:16 Stories of Hope podcast, highlighting the community at John 3:16 Ministries in Charlotte, Arkansas. Be sure to share the episode. If you need more information, hop on their website, john316thecure.com, or find them on social media.